Adam Collins had everything money could buy. A penthouse overlooking Central Park, a fleet of sports cars, and a bank account that could buy a small country. He was one of the wealthiest men in the world, a tech mogul whose name was known on every continent. But as he stood in his glass and steel tower on his 40th birthday, surrounded by a room full of guests, he felt a profound emptiness. The laughter was hollow. The smiles were calculated. The conversations were all about stocks, investments, and the latest merger. In that moment, he realized the terrible truth. In a world where everyone wanted a piece of him, no one actually knew him. He was a walking wallet, a living ATM, and he was desperately, achingly alone. He craved something that his billions couldn't buy: genuine human connection. True love. So Adam Collins did something no one expected. He vanished. He left behind his name, his money, and his life. He bought a bus ticket and traveled until the skyscrapers disappeared and were replaced by open plains and bluebonnet fields. He ended up in a small, forgotten town in Texas called Willow Creek. He found a dusty, abandoned trailer on the edge of town and, with a tattered coat and a scraggly beard, he stopped being Adam Collins, the billionaire. He became just Adam, a homeless man down on his luck.
It was a crazy plan.
He told himself he was just doing an experiment, a social project. But deep down, he was looking for something much more important. He was looking for the truth. Did true love exist, or was it just another thing that could be bought and sold? For weeks, he kept to himself. The locals were wary of the new stranger, eyeing him with suspicion. But then one warm spring afternoon, he met her. Her name was Emma. She ran the small diner in town with her father, a kind-hearted man named Gus. She wasn't rich. Her clothes were simple, and her hands were calloused from hard work. But in her eyes, he saw a light he hadn't seen in anyone in years. It was kindness. She walked up to him on that park bench, holding a sandwich wrapped in a napkin. "Hey there, stranger. You look like you could use a good meal. My name's Emma. This here's a club sandwich. It's on the house." Adam, who hadn't had a genuine interaction in days, was stunned. "Thank you. I don't have any money. I can't pay you." She just chuckled softly.
Didn't ask you to.
"My daddy always said, you can't judge a man's heart by the cut of his coat."
Come on.
The diner's just around the corner. You can eat in the warm. So he started helping out around the diner. He fixed the broken ice machine, repaired the jukebox, and built a new wooden fence for the garden out back. He became a fixture in the town. To Gus, he was a hard worker who just needed a second chance. To the locals, he was the quiet drifter with a knack for fixing things. To Adam, Emma was something else entirely. She saw him. Not the money. Not the power. She saw a broken man, and she tried to fix him with kindness, one cup of coffee and one kind word at a time. For the first time in his life, he felt like he wasn't alone. He started to believe that maybe, just maybe, true love was real. A love that didn't care about a bank balance. The bond between them grew deeper. He taught her how to play chess. She showed him how to two-step to country music. He fell in love with the sound of her laugh, the way she bit her lip when she was concentrating, the way she saw the best in everyone, even the hopeless drifter who showed up at her door. One night, she asked him, "Will you stay here in Willow Creek? I know it's not much, but—" And he answered, "It's everything I never knew I wanted, Emma. Being here, with you, it feels like I've been waiting my whole life to come home." His experiment was a success. He found exactly what he was looking for. But there was a problem. He had found the love of his life, but he was living a lie. Every day, he didn't tell her the truth, was another lie he had to live with. The fear of losing her was so great that it paralyzed him. A war raged inside him. Tell her the truth and risk everything, or keep the lie going and live in fear of the day she found out. He told himself he would tell her tomorrow. But tomorrow always became today, and today always became an excuse. Back in the city, his empire was in chaos. His board of directors was panicking. The media was on a frenzy. The search for Adam Collins was in full swing. And it was only a matter of time before they found him. A private investigator, hired by his ruthless business rival, finally tracked him down to Willow Creek. He didn't just want to find Adam. He wanted to expose him. He wanted to humiliate him in the press and seize control of his company. The investigator walked into the diner and approached Adam. "Mr. Collins," he said, "it's a pleasure to finally find you. Your board is very worried. We've been looking everywhere." Emma and Gus were standing nearby, looking confused. Emma's face slowly transformed from confusion to hurt to betrayal. The moment Adam had dreaded for months had arrived. The investigator continued, "I'm sorry to be so public, but your rival is attempting a hostile takeover. We need you to come back to New York immediately." Adam looked at Emma. Her eyes were wide with shock. "Mr. Collins?" she whispered. "Adam, who is this guy? What is he talking about?" The truth hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. "Emma, I can explain," he said. "It's not what it looks like. It looks like you've been lying to me this whole time." Her voice started to crack. "You told me you had no one, that you were just a lonely man who needed a second chance. Who are you, Adam?"
Who are you?
He had to tell her. "My name is Adam Collins," he confessed. "And everything I told you, it was all a lie. I'm a billionaire." Emma took a step back, looking at him as if she didn't recognize him. The expression on her face was worse than anything he had imagined. It wasn't just anger. It was devastation. It was trust broken in the most cruel way. "Emma, wait," he called out. She spun around, tears streaming down her face. "Was any of it real? The lunch breaks? The nights we spent talking? The I love yous? Or was that just part of your little experiment? The poor people of Willow Creek? Was it all just a game to you, a rich man's entertainment?" He saw the complete and utter contempt in her eyes, and his heart shattered into a million pieces. "No, it was never a game. I came here looking for something real, and I found it in you. You're the only real thing in my life, Emma. I love you." She shook her head, her voice trembling with rage. "You have a funny way of showing love. Love is built on trust. You gave me 1,000 lies and said it was just one secret. That's not love, Adam. That's betrayal." He was a billionaire, but in that moment, he was the poorest man on earth. He had lost the only thing that ever mattered. He went back to New York, defeated. He saved his company, crushed his rival, and solidified his position. But his life felt empty. Every dollar he earned felt meaningless. He spent sleepless nights thinking about Willow Creek. He realized his mistake wasn't the disguise. It was the time he wasted, the lie he let fester. He realized that he hadn't just failed to trust her. He had failed to respect her. He knew he couldn't just buy her back. He had to prove he had changed, that his character was worth more than his money. He had been told that the bank was about to foreclose on Gus's diner. They were on the verge of losing everything. So Adam bought the bank's debt and forgave it. He anonymously arranged for a brand new roof and a complete renovation of the diner. He didn't do it for her to see. He did it because it was the right thing to do. He couldn't stay away. He had to see her one more time. So he returned to Willow Creek, clean-shaven, wearing a simple, humble suit. He walked up to the newly renovated diner. He found Emma standing inside, looking at all the changes. She had found a letter he had left, and as she read it, tears welled up in her eyes. She walked out the front door and saw him standing there. "Emma," he began, "I know I don't deserve a second chance. But I have to say this. The money doesn't matter to me. It never did. The only thing that matters is you. Why did you do this?"
She asked.
"Why did you help us after all you did?" "Because you taught me what real wealth is. It's a family that works hard. It's a community that takes care of its own. It's loving someone not for what they have, but for who they are. I love you, Emma. Not as a billionaire. As the man you took in because he was hungry. And I am so sorry I lied." She stood there, tears streaming down her face. She looked at him, and the anger started to melt away into understanding. She had been holding on to so much anger. But seeing him there, vulnerable, stripped of his wealth and his lies, she saw the man she had fallen in love with. Not Adam Collins, the billionaire, but just Adam. "He was never a homeless man to me," she finally said. "He was just a lost one. And I found him." She took a tentative step forward. It's going to take a lot of time, Adam. And a lot of talking. He smiled, his own eyes glistening. I have all the time in the world. They embraced, and the town looked on, smiling. He hadn't just found true love. He had found a community, a family, and a home. He decided to stay in Willow Creek, pouring his billions into the town, not to buy it, but to help it thrive. And so he did. He ran the diner with Emma. He worked alongside Gus, learning the value of honest labor. And soon, they had a daughter, a beautiful little girl with her mother's kind eyes and her father's curiosity. He had everything he could ever want: a loving wife, a beautiful child, and a quiet life in a town where everyone knew his name. He learned the hardest and most important lesson of his life: that character is more valuable than money, and that true love isn't found, it's built. And it is built on honesty, forgiveness, and one person seeing the best in another, even when they show their worst. Money can buy a house, but it can't build a home. Adam Collins spent his entire life building a financial empire, but he only became a truly wealthy man the day he lost it all and found love in a small Texas town. Because sometimes you have to lose everything to find what really matters. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more emotional love stories. And leave a comment below. What would you do if you were in Emma's shoes? Would you be able to forgive a lie built on love? We'll see you in the next one.